calls straight away. I've opened the Skype and there is calls galore coming in here. We've got Charlie on the line. We'll come to your comments in a moment. Charlie's with us. What are you saying, Charlie?
Hello. I think, well, Man United, well, they're totally right in not spending 200 million on their players, basically. Like, you know, all these transfer targets.
Yep.
Firstly, because, you know, you got to get rid of players, to be honest. Like, you're not going to, how many players have you got on the, like, wage bill, to be fair? I think I've seen you got, like, Phil Jones and stuff on, like, over 100,000 a week.
Yep.
And similar situation with Arsenal. Like, you got to get rid of players to bring players in. And in my opinion, spending 107 million on Sancho when you can get, like, I know Sar's not as good right now, but there's nothing saying that he can't be as good as someone like Mane. When Liverpool bought in Mane, for example, like, nobody thought he would be as good as he is, in my opinion.
Yep.
And, you know, it's just, you got to take a risk, and spending that much on a manager who hasn't, say, you know, proven much. I know, you know, you got top four, but what has he actually shown apart from that, you know, gives him the right to spend 200 million on players, in my opinion?
Listen, I think, Charlie, thank you very much for your call. I really do appreciate that. I think you make some good points there in terms of, does Ollie warrant that amount of money? Thank you, Charlie. We definitely have you on again. Does he warrant spending that kind of money? It's a really good question. You, the viewers, can answer that right now. Leave your comments below. Get your super chats in as well. Next up on the show, we've got Courtney Riley. Courtney, what you saying? Are Man United right to have rejected Ollie's transfer plans?
Hey, Terry, you all right?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. Sorry, it's just my phone going off. Yeah, I mean, this is not really a surprise to me at all about what the Glazers have done and what Ed Woodward has done. Because for them, losing out roughly, every football match at Old Trafford is costing them £5 million. And over a season, including FA Cup, Champions League and Carabao Cup games, you're talking roughly over £100 million. Now, asking them to go out and sign a player for £100 million plus the agent fees and all that as well, they're just going to go, nope, we're not going to do that, because all they look at is the finances. They don't look at it from a football point of view. Now, that I can understand as well. And Jack Grealish, definitely really overpriced, £80 million. Again, that's just, I mean, I can't really understand this whole rumour thing going on as well about Pochettino, because him as a manager has not won anything, even as a player. He's going to cost a lot more per week in his salaries and whatever his agent wants to get paid. Ollie's on a lot less, and Ollie's won a lot more as a manager and as a player. So Pochettino for me is not an upgrade. I just think it's this whole instant gratification era we live in, where people are getting fed up. Oh, we're not winning anything. Let's just change the manager. We're slowly changing ourselves into the Real Madrid, Barcelona, and even Chelsea fans, which I don't like. Now, Edison Cavani, I think the Glazers have got really lucky with that, considering what's happened with Martial, even though he's not going to play against Newcastle because he's in quarantine. I like Donny van der Beek. We need an extra option in midfield. He's cheaper than Grealish as well. And Tellez, good option, keeps Luke Shaw on his feet. So I'm going to be optimistic about the season, and I'm going to keep my cards close to my chest and just give them a chance. But I really hope they don't sack Ollie by Christmas. I think the only reason they did that with Mourinho is because he was being a bit of a dick about it. He was playing people out of position, and he was trying to make a point. Whereas Ollie, he's not that kind of guy. He's going to do the best he can. And I really hope they don't get rid of him, because if they do, I can only see it going down here from here, Terry. I don't know what you think, but I'm really hoping that Ollie can do what he's done last summer and prove everyone wrong. These signings get us into, if we don't even get through to the next round of the Champions League, if we get into the Europa League and we win that, that'll be great. As long as Ollie wins a trophy this season, I'll be happy, and I'll be very thankful for him being our manager. Pochettino, stay clear, mate. You are trash.
Courtney with some strong words there. And, you know, what I would say to you is this. everybody knows my thoughts on Ollie. I feel he's needed for the cultural reboot. Right now, it feels like the cultural reboot has been destroyed. I actually understand the financial element of saying no to Ollie's transfer targets. I don't overly disagree. The bit that concerns me is if we were never going to pay those fees, why did it take us until the final day to sign Telles, Cavani, and these two very intriguing, very talented youngsters that have come to the football club? It's the approach. It's the wishy-washy, unplanned, scattergun approach. That tells me that the cultural reboot has been pulled away from Ollie and the club's behaving how we did in 2013 again, how we did under LVG again. That's my concern. That's my worry about us moving forward, which is why if we're not going to have a cultural reboot, keeping Ollie becomes non-essential, because I felt that somebody with red in their blood was needed to do that before we were ready for a higher quality manager. Whether people have an opinion or not, who is or isn't a high quality manager becomes very, very subjective. So that's a debate for another day. I just feel right now I don't have any faith in the business that we've done. I don't have any faith in the approach that we've gone with. And even if it's true that we said no purely on a monetary level, we could have spent the money sooner, got the deals in early, and there'd be a lot less problems. The fact that Woodward kept on promising Ollie and promising the squad and briefing the media that we were still highly likely to get Jadon Sancho. In fact, still telling Jadon Sancho until the very last minute that we were going to bid the money to get him. That's the bit that sticks in the back of my throat. It's not so much what's been done, it's how it's been done. But Courtney, really good call. Appreciate you coming on the show and having your say. We've got some super chats to do here. First one's from Yazim Sayed, who says, Juve hire a manager in Pirlo who has zero experience in management. He's legit finally receiving his coaching badges. And Juve are backing him. There's another super chat from Yazir again. It says, people say Ollie got Cardiff relegated. Lampard failed to get Derby promoted. His level is Derby County, yet Chelsea backed him. And Mohammed here says, transfers aren't for Ollie. They are for the football team. I don't see Poch, etc., coming in and saying they don't want Sancho or Upper Meccano. Maybe not. I don't. Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm putting it out there as a theory that's being pushed around social media. Next up on the show, we've got man like Pav. Pav is back with us. Before we do that, though, hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen, right about now. Pav, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm just listening to call. I can't remember what you said now. Said something about we shouldn't be spending that amount of money on Jadon Sancho, but if we're a big club and we're big as Real Madrid and Barcelona, we have more fans in those clubs. This club makes so much money, and you're telling me that people are telling me that we shouldn't be spending around that much in player wages, the fee, the agent fees. If we're such a big club, why is that a problem for us to spend that much money? Like, if that was a problem, we should never have been talking to Jadon Sancho in the first place. Dortmund made it very, very clear how much money they wanted, and this club, I don't buy any of it. I really don't. Like, this club, they're just trying to act like they're like the big dons of football, and they get put in their place by every single team because they know who we are. They would rather sell a player to us for twice the amount of what that player's worth. And if we don't pay for it, they'd rather go sell that player at its original price to another team. Because that's the sort of club we are. That's the sort of club that we have been turned into by this ownership, by this board. I don't buy into any of this, like, the club's trying to save money. All this club cares about is keeping its money in its banks, and they will turn on Ollie, sack him just so the stock prices of Man United go up, and bring in another manager for the stock prices to go up. That's the sort of club we are. I don't trust this club anymore. I don't trust the ownership, and I don't trust the board. And I've listened to things like the last few days, and it's never going to change until the club changes ownership. It's never going to change. I don't understand that. Some people's theories, it's just, like, I'm not buying it, man. Like, we're trying to save money, we're trying to change the culture. The culture is never going to change in this club. Like, Ollie's tried his best, and as far as I see it, Edward was just turned his back on him. He's looked at it and said, like, I've given you time to change it. I don't like it. I'm going to do what I want again. That's what it is. That's how I see it.
Yeah, do you know
that guy don't care about Ollie. He don't care about his culture.
No, I
It's
understand that. I understand that, Pav. I think what's interesting, super chat here from Who Me that says, Terry, as a businessman and finance man, when you spend over $1 billion in the last 7 to 8 years, over 300 million on that defense, at what point does at what point does an owner say enough is enough? It's business. This is not for fans. I understand that view, Humi.